This is a brand that's coming back to India after decades, but it's a brand that's not been forgotten because, like Xerox is synonymous for copying, Jeep is synonymous with big, tough-built vehicles meant for off-roading. And that's really its DNA because it's the one that started 4x4 in cars, it's the one that started the low-range movement, it is the one that pioneered off-roading as we know it today. So that is its strength. What we have here is its most popular product, the Grand Cherokee. Not only does it promise to offer you that DNA and heritage and capability of off-roading, but it also promises good levels of luxury. Can it live up to that is what we have to find out. Well, it certainly looks like a big XXL SUV. The styling leans towards the traditional upright stance and squared-off lines. The chunky front has a large chrome grille made up of 7 neat chrome-lined rectangles, flanked by slim headlamps. A strong jawline with the chrome-lined headlamp makes it look adequately beefy. There are large 20-inch wheels under the squared-off arches and chrome continues to accent the window frame. The rear windscreen is quite steeply raked, which breaks the square look a bit and is topped off by a spoiler. There's no two ways about it. You want presence, you've got it. I love the way the door closes with a solid thunk. It really feels well built. And the interior feels like a large luxury SUV. It's got lots of glass area, feels nice and airy. There's leather across the dash. There's a 4-wood inlay. There is what is supposed to be, I think, 4 metal, but tacky plastic is all I can call it. That's what sells this a little short. You know, all the quality of the materials used on the inside really don't feel like the price bracket that it's sitting in. We're used to seeing a lot better. You have the joystick lever. What I do like on the inside is the TFT display, which is crisp, it's clear and easy to see. TFT display is the most impressive part of the interior apart from the space and offers up a host of information too. The large infotainment screen is clear enough but not the most intuitive to use. For storage, you have a box under the armrest and a small covered box in the central console. The seats are large and comfortable and have a wide variety of adjustments, which makes it easy to settle in. The bonus is the vented option on the seats, which turned on to cool, kept me comfortable in the sweltering heat. The second row of seats is roomy too. Most large luxury SUV owners in India prefer this row of seats, the back seat. And it's a comfortable place to be because it's quite spacious. There's loads and loads of legroom. Yes, I know I'm quite short, but as you can see, there's ample and more space for a tall person over here. There's a lot of headroom. The panoramic sunroof really opens it up. The window line is low, so it makes it nice and airy, which is a good thing because actually you're seated quite low. So for a tall person, you would be a little knees up over here. However, you can recline the seat and you can stretch your legs out and get quite comfortable. There are also a lot of goodies over here. You have the aircon controls, you have your USB ports, and of course, you have the TV screens. So, definitely feels like a luxury backseat. Apart from all that, there is a healthy list of kit. Now, without the 7-seat option, you get a XXL size boot too. Everything about this car is XXL, and that's the feeling from behind the wheel as well. Well, it definitely offers you a very commanding position. You do feel like you're driving a tank. You can bully anything else on the road. It feels solid. There's this nice thick steering that makes it feel even tougher. As large as it feels from the inside, the Grand Cherokee is surprisingly nimble and easy to maneuver in traffic conditions. And still, there's a good level of refinement to this car. You know, it's softer side, the engine is nice and silent, the cabin is well insulated. If at all, there's a little bit of rumble from the tires when you go over broken tarmac or concrete sections of road. The standard 18-inch on the other variants would probably help solve that problem. Now, under the hood, the variant that we drove came with a 3-litre V6 diesel, churning out 240 HP and 550 Nm of torque. The engine has a healthy dose of torque, but it's lugging almost 2.5 tons around, so it's not exactly enthusiastic. Still, it's happy to serve up power whenever you need it, and it really kicks in after about 2000 RPM. So, driving in city conditions also is very easy. What it does have is decent top-end whack. So if you're cruising down a highway, it's an ideal companion. There's a good amount of grunt at low revs, which is what makes it very tractable. So not only city driving, but even highway motoring is easy with enough power for overtakes and comfortable cruising. In the normal auto mode, the gearbox is a little slow to react, but that's very well countered by using the paddle shifts, and that gives you instant responses. Using the paddles really lets you make full use of the torque produced, and you will find it holding to the red line till it upshifts. This is nice, especially when you're on a winding section of road or you need a quick surge of power for an overtake. With such a large car, it grips fairly well, and you can carry a fair bit of speed into the corners without feeling unsettled or unsafe. But mid-corner bumps do unsettle it a bit, and if you push hard, you do feel a fair bit of roll. It is at its best when it's driven at a leisurely pace. As far as the ride goes, now the low-speed ride is pretty good. It blunts off the edges of all the bad road sections and potholes. It does get caught out by the deeper ruts and bumps, and as you get quicker, it does firm up, and there's a fair bit of movement on undulating roads, especially the rocking movement that's side to side. The Indian roads really don't allow the large SUV to play to its strengths, and the shortfalls in its dynamic capability are brought to the fore. However, take the tires off the tarmac and onto the dirt, and the Jeep certainly feels at home. Dirt bashing, mud kicking. Well, the Grand Cherokee is up to it all. You can do a fair bit of off-roading in this one. You have a knob on the central console which will give you the options for various kinds of terrain. There's snow, there's sand, there's mud, there's rock. But I find that keeping it in auto pretty much deals with most situations. I've gone through a fair bit of slush and it's handled it absolutely well. There's also a dedicated four-wheel drive low, so whether you want to go dune bashing or climbing up slippery, steep inclines, you can do that too. This is what Jeeps are all about, and if it's space and muscle you're after, yes, it's all there. Jeep are all set to launch at the end of this month, and if you're a fan of the brand, you'll be happy to know that the Grand Cherokee carries its DNA quite proudly. It's built tough and it can do a fair bit of off-roading. It's also a spacious SUV that has a nice engine, rides decently and handles pretty well too. But where it does fall short is cabin, especially when you consider it's going to be launched at a price of 75 lakh rupee onwards. It just doesn't give you the appeal that other premium brands have at that price point. There are far more plush and luxury cabins around. Well, if you think the price is out of reach, then consider this. At launch, Jeep will only have 2 showrooms, one in Delhi and one in Ahmedabad. So you'll have to drive all the way there to get yourself one of these. You'll just have to wait till Jeep expand their footprint.